my god.
I'm gonna yawn. I'm gonna yawn.
Fucking yawn, bitch. Because you want to know what it is?
What?
My podcast. My podcast.
Oh.
It's my podcast.
It's your podcast?
No, it's my podcast.
It's my podcast. It's fucking episode 32 of Within the Flesh. Can we get a...
Episode 32?
Yeah.
It's my podcast now. I'm taking over the channel. Hacking in.
Yes. Shut the
fuck?
fuck up.
Anyways,
My bit.
I want to welcome everyone to episode 32 of Within the Flesh. I have with me Arunyu, Xeno,
Howdy.
and Luke. Please feel free to introduce yourselves if you wish.
Howdy.
Hi, I'm Xeno. I've been in themes and stuff, here and there, and yeah, that's it.
All right, I'm getting my gun.
Shoot him.
What
Shoot
about you, Luke?
Quick, he hasn't introduced
My
himself.
name is Luke. I stream on the Twitch and I am about to be a YouTuber extraordinaire. Thank you for coming to my talk.
Very
Oh,
good.
this is his podcast. Okay.
It's
Damn,
my
his
my
podcast.
podcast.
It's actually his
My-
podcast the
Oh.
whole time.
Yeah.
That makes a lot
Yeah.
more sense that it's his
Why?
podcast.
How's everyone feeling today?
Tired.
My shoulder hurts.
Why?
I'm old. I wake up and I'm in pain.
Be younger, man.
How old are
I
you,
wish.
if you don't mind disclosing that?
Disclose yours first. Show me yours and I'll show you mine.
I'm 25.
I'm older than you. I'm 26.
I'm older than you.
Old.
Luke,
Old.
I do believe you're the oldest here, Luke. How does it feel?
No. I mean, as I get older, it becomes the case more often.
That is true.
I mean, that is
true.
how it works.
Yes.
That's how time progresses.
Thank you.
I think I'll fucking freak out whenever that starts to happen. Like if I enter a call on Discord with like fucking people and they're like, "Oh, you're the oldest here," I think I'll actually have a fucking freak out. I'll be like, "Shut the
dude.
fuck up!" You know.
Dude, I had that moment. I'm playing D&D every other Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And I had a moment where I realized that I was the oldest person in the group. And I'm like, how is this fucking happening? Two of you guys sound like you're in your 30s. How the fuck am I the oldest person here?
Right? And like, I don't know, it's just a fucking horrible feeling, right? It's like,
Damn, I already feel like dying. Now I want to die even more.
yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. Do you ever feel charmed by it though? Has there ever been a moment where you're like, I am the oldest one here?
I have
Nope.
authority.
Nope.
When I walk into a room of teenagers, yes. Then I go,
Hello.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of all of you.
I'm your resident groomer. Hello.
Whoa.
I'm more of man. I was just gonna kill him, but you know. Whatever.
Oh, I mean,
Same.
you either become a groomer or you become a teenage murderer. You don't have much to choose, to be honest.
I feel like
I'm gonna put them in the burgers.
I'll be like, I don't know. I think with my body type, the older I am, the hotter I am. You know? I got a very fat dad body, but I'm not a fat dad. You know, I need
You're just
to
fat.
level up my age a little bit before
He's
I achieve
fat dad
that.
with a fatty. Yep.
I don't know.
You just gotta get some muscles. You don't have to like get fit, but like if you just get some muscle with the chunk, and then you got like the real dad bod.
Gotta get
Or-
that muscle gut going. You know.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're called, right?
like muscly arms with the big old beer gut. Have you ever seen the new anime that just recently aired, Kaiju
Are you talking
number
about
8?
bulking?
Bulking?
No,
Bulking? Around Shinlar? You better watch out, dude.
no,
He
fucking.
will teach you a fucking fact, okay?
The main protagonist in Kaiju number 8, he literally has the dad bod of like bit muscly from the chest up, but he has the big old beer gut.
Yeah, that's called that's bubble gut.
How do you guys
It's
feel
disgusting.
about the damnation of the word daddy?
I hate it.
Papa.
hate it so fucking much.
Do you think
I can't.
like what if you had a kid though? What if you had a little girl? Do you think you would be
I
like,
wouldn't.
shut
I
the
wouldn't
fuck
mind.
up, get that word out of your fucking mouth right now?
I
You
would
can only call
prefer
me
if
daddy,
she.
not the boy across the street.
I would prefer if she called me just like dad and
Father.
not or father or dad. Although father feels disconnected.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough,
Father.
feels like you
Father.
got to disconnect.
Father,
But,
when is the harvest, father?
I feel like either Papa or Dad would be my preferred like
Papa,
name.
what, your granddad? What the fuck?
Like I'm Papa, you know, like for
Papa?
my younger daughter.
Papa.
Your
Oh.
papa.
Dad,
Shin
dad.
Shin.
Yeah, like Dad, Papa, yeah, that kind of thing. But I would not. I don't know. Daddy has been ruined for me.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, it
Not
goes
mommy.
for mommy as well.
I
thought
don't
the-
like even hearing it. I
No.
don't even like hearing that one.
If it was your daughter, I don't think I would care, to be honest. I think I'd be like, okay.
I don't care as long as they don't bring a boy home and they say, "Look at my new daddy."
I guess there
I
is
have to
some
shoot
kind of
them.
I would-
disconnect of like, that's my daughter, not, someone I'm fucking. Unless you're also doing that,
Yeah.
then you should probably be in.
Yeah, then you're in.
Then
yeah.
well, then we kill you.
Then you have some life choices to reassess.
Well, you don't have a life
Some
anymore.
life choices.
Oh yeah, because
You
you're
know,
it's
'cause
kaput.
Your
You have to
fucking
choices
dead.
at that
Yeah.
point become put the shotgun in your mouth and either have the trigger pulled for you or have pulled the trigger
Oh,
yourself.
Kurt Cobain. Okay.
We call
Well,
that
Kurt
Kurt
Cobain didn't
Cobain's
have a kid.
microphone.
But yeah, I don't know. I never understood why people liked to say daddy or mommy in bed. For me, that never seemed hot. That just seemed like you wanted to fuck your parent and just
Well,
have
fuck your mom,
unresolved
man.
like you have unresolved issues.
I
know?
push my glasses up on my face. Well, actually, I think it stems from a place where the dominance comes from the word. That's why it's kinky to some people because of daddy kinks.
Ah. I guess that
Nerd.
makes sense, yeah. That
Why
could
is
be like
everything in
a,
your room so white? I just realized this.
Nerd emoji. Nerd emoji.
Because he's a polar bear.
look at my fucking bald spot.
Damn.
Ah! Oh,
Damn.
damn.
You want to see white?
Alright.
You want to see reflection? God damn. You know?
All right, where's the
Dude,
bald
this
spot
guy-
like Bert
king?
Kreischer.
This guy's favorite color is white. Everything in that room is fucking white.
No, no.
Put
The
some
polar
color
bear
on the
water is
wall.
blue.
I mean, if
Put
I could
color
get some
in your
color
wall.
on here. Ow.
Outside.
Put like an anime poster up, like a fucking dweeb.
I actually do have one.
Tits on the wall.
There's a Monster Masumi one over there, so
Oh, so you do
Well,
have
put it
tits
behind
on the
you.
wall.
I don't
Put it
want that
behind you
shit
so
on
that way-
screen, dude. People are gonna be like,
Put
"You're
that
a
on
fucking
screen.
weeb."
Polar bear's
Yeah,
iconic
and
at
then
this
you'll
point.
get a bigger audience. Weebs have bigger audiences.
Look, there's a black cat.
Oh,
That's
Nikki.
Zekerman.
That's Ming. Look at her.
Is it Ming? Oh, it's Ming. Yeah, it's Ming.
Ming
Put
Ming.
your cat on the mic.
Yeah, Ming, welcome to the podcast. What's your input on this? We need Ming's
Put the-
input.
Put the cat on the mic.
Yeah, let's get on like.
Fucking-
Hello.
What about Zeke? Would you grab Zeke?
Probably Zeke. Ming's an old fat little fuck.
True. Ming's a little sweetie.
Ming's just like us, for real, for real.
He's a
Old and
fucking
fat.
piece of shit. I
And a piece of shit.
hate. Thank you.
Wimbledon. I hate tennis.
I hate tennis. Yep.
Shinlar and Luke. Maybe even
I
Xeno.
like tennis.
Actually, Xeno, you're single, right?
Yeah.
Shinlar
Fucking
and
loser.
Shinlar and Luke, would you like to maybe give some tips or pointers? I feel like out of the relationships that I do know, you both have very stable ones. Like, I never hear you talking bad about your partner or like fucking,
It's.
I don't know. Just,
I'd say stable enough.
yeah. No relationship is perfect, but, do you have any
The best
tips
of-
or any key points to, like, how to get a relationship or how to maintain one?
Look up desperatewomen.com.
Honestly, just don't be a dickhead.
You be okay with your partner moving on if you ever died?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Be happy. I don't
What
care.
if she
I'm
moved
fucking
on with
dead.
somebody related to you?
What if she was the one who killed you?
Well, then
That's
that's
a plus
Mother
for
She
me. 'Cause
Wrote.
that turns me up. No,
Think your partner would ever betray you both?
I hope not.
I don't think so. Nope,
Okay.
nope, nope. Yes, thank
I
you.
hope not.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm trying to
See-
stir up some fucking.
See, I can't give
Stir up some
I can't
relationship
give
drama.
on giving tips on how to get women is a bit difficult for me considering like
Is
I
it
met
a
I
person
met
on
her
person?
and oh, what do you guys call that again? Is it preschool? I was 10 years old.
Huh?
Wait, were
I
we
think
talking
that's-
about dating and now we're talking about preschools? What the fuck, Luke?
He's saying he met her
What's
in.
going on?
Yeah, I met-
Oh, okay.
yeah, we both met when we were 10, so I can't really give tips on how to get
She
women.
was the
'cause-
hottest teacher in school.
So you've just known her this long?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We started dating when we were like, I think 17, because our parents wanted us to be responsible. Well, not be responsible, but like not be like younger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. You don't want to start
And
fucking
my
before
long
you're
run of
ready.
it, for me, it's actually been, I only know them for like a year, and it's been going strong for like, what, 6 months now?
I think that's good.
Almost 7.
I guess you really have to put yourself out there and, you know, kind of.
They let me hit because I was goofy.
I think if you are open and honest with your partner, no matter how bad the situation is, then that is the foundation for a healthy relationship.
Man, shut your bitch ass.
It's kind of weird because, you know, I don't know. Growing up, it's always been like, I fucking hate people who give the generic like answers and shit like that. Like
Well,
the
like,
thing
be
that
yourself.
that shit. But as I get older, it seems to be more true. Like when they say
does.
communication is key, it's like it's very true. Like not even just within a relationship, even like friendships or anything like that. It's like
Honesty, it's rewarding.
communication
in
is
some way.
number one, you know. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of
Mhm.
relationships kind of lack that.
Mhm.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. For me, I haven't been single for no use of trying. For a few years, I just was not putting myself out there at all, and like wasn't really like I was looking, but I was also not actively trying to look at all. I was like,
Alright.
a relationship will just come to me eventually.
Honestly, that is the best time to do it. When you're not looking, it just comes.
You know, you make
Yeah.
me depressed. You make me very depressed.
Thanks. It's gonna get worse. I put myself out there recently through multiple dating apps. Talked to some few people on there. They're all flaky as hell. Don't trust dating apps. They're all just gonna make you go somewhere and wait there, ordering a table for 2, and then you sit there waiting for 2 hours. They never showed.
Or
Well,
they
that's
do show and they get the most expensive meal they can and then sit you at the bill and never return calls or anything.
Yeah. Well, I never had that happen. I just had well, I'm waiting here for the other person. Are you still waiting here, sir?
Actually,
Yes,
I did
am.
read something that recently, apparently there's been a thing going on that some store owners, like restaurants, will go to dating apps and apparently make fake accounts and get you to come to their restaurant just to eat their food because what are you going to do? You going to wait on the
That-
person and eat? Or just leave
That's
and not do
fucked.
anything? Yeah,
That's really fucked.
it's apparently a thing I found.
I mean, I believe it, but that also is so fucked.
Yeah.
You know, you do make me depressed though, because I believe like even when you're saying all this stuff, it's very tragic because I believe you've said that we're both kind of similar. We're not like identical fucking twins, but you've said that we are similar in, you know, kind of appearance, right?
Similar-ish.
Yeah, similar-ish. We both live near like the same side of the fucking United States and all that. And I don't know. It makes me very sad that like if you had said something like, "Oh yeah, I get bitches all the time," it may have given me some hope of like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I gotta like improve or something. But it literally just sounds like I'm also fucked, you know. Like it's
I
like
mean,
a
what,
hard
even
fact,
worse?
you know. It's like it's
Yeah.
not a me issue. It's just a you know, that's just how it is for people like us or something. Like, I don't know.
Unfortunate happenstance.
Like, it's just an
Yeah.
unfortunate fact or something like that. You know?
I feel
Yeah.
like you could pull people, Justy. I
It's
feel
like,
you
oh,
could.
you're Italian? Well, this is what's gonna happen for you.
It really does feel like that. It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those types that's like, oh, all women, am I right? You know, but it's like, you know, I think people like us aren't really given a chance.
Just need to start dating men.
No,
Become
You
gay,
know?
become bisexual. Come on, man.
not yet. I haven't gotten down
We'll
there
just
yet,
need to
dude.
start fucking each other, you know? That'll solve both our issues.
Man, just at some point you're gonna turn to the bugs and you're gonna be like, yeah, I'd fuck that.
Yeah, I'd fuck that. Yeah. But no, it was even worse. It was just a few months ago. I put myself out there for this one chick that I met. And she lived fairly close. She was in Idaho,
Yeah.
just right to the right of us. So I was like, oh, that's like a maybe 12-hour trip, a little less than that. I asked her out. She immediately shot me down.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was just like, shit. Well, not doing that again.
Serious.
see, that's the fucked part. It's like, oh no, it's just like, as someone who doesn't even put himself out there, like hearing that kind of shit, it's just depressing because it's like,
Like,
well, probably
it
gonna be a
was not a
similar
gentle-
situation.
It was not a gentle shoot down either. People be like, oh, the worst thing she can say is no. Fuck no, it ain't.
Was she like
Curious,
pointing
you
out your
know?
fucking physical features or
Yeah.
something? Dude,
Yeah,
what
no,
the
it's bad. It was bad.
You know?
Like,
I'm
she
curious.
didn't mean to be mean with it, but she's like, yeah, like, you
It's
do
just
not
like-
fit my type at all.
It's
And
just
I'm
like,
just like,
sorry,
oh,
I don't date fat people. And it's like, okay, I mean, I guess that's like
that's fair.
That's
but
your
also,
honest-
ouch.
your honest opinion, you know, but it's also true, so fuck, you know.
I consider you fat, Justy. I consider you like husky, if anything.
Dude, I've heard it that if I was in like Nebraska or something, that I'd be like a fucking prime slab of fuck meat, you know?
Oh, you'd be a stud.
That's
A stud.
apparently that's what they like over there. They like fucking big chonky boys or something like that. Not
But
fat.
Nebraska
but
has
like-
fucking nothing there.
Yeah, that's also the thing as well. It's like, you know, I feel like if you live in a city, you're fucked if it comes to
Oh,
dating,
wait.
you know.
There's nothing there, so that means all they have to do all day is smoke weed and fuck.
Plus it
It's
limits the
perfect.
options, you know. I mean, like,
Eh,
what are you gonna do?
all country boys.
Country boys make do. We got our huskies out here, and
Country girls make do. They got that cornfield.
oh,
Hey, you don't want some fresh corn on the cobs, you know?
oh, freshly buttered.
Buttered corn.
What, Justy?
Buttered corn.
Oh, I thought you said
Yeah.
buttered porn.
Buttered
No.
corn.
Buttered porn. Here, let me look that up real fast.
I like
This is a
porn,
podcast.
but
Yeah, porn's all right.
I think it is kind of like setting up some expectations. I don't think it's a
is.
porn issue though. I don't think it's the issue of everyone that enjoys it. I think it's the issue, or no, it's not the issue of the people who produce it. It's the issue of the people who are watching it.
Overstimulation.
It's the people who are like, yeah, I need a woman. Like, I don't know. I read something where like
I don't like the results I got.
I think it's just like the big issue of it sets up different expectations or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, you mean with like cock size and everything?
Not even just that. Like, I think it was on they did a survey for some dating site or something like that. And it was that they were shown various men, like women were seeing various pictures of men and said, hey, would you date this person or not? Right. And I believe it was that like they found 80% of the guys undateable or something like that. And it's like, I don't know. That's kind of fucked, you know?
I was porn addled free. What a shame.
I think
I mean,
porn does set up
There-
some
I
expectation.
do believe that. I completely agree with that to an extent, in that it does set up like a lot of unrealistic expectation. Like when I lost my virginity, I was expecting it to be like, this is going to be one of the most euphoric moments in my life. Sex is going to be awesome if it's even remotely like masturbating.
Yeah.
Had sex, went, wow. Honestly, the masturbation felt better.
Fucking Xeno, stop! You're making me depressed, dude. I'm fucking thinking.
So do you think that just stems from like your inexperience at the time, or do you think it was just like an expectation?
I was just like, I think it was the expectation of like, oh, this is gonna be like awesome. Like this is gonna be like feel
You gotta-
amazing. Like there's not gonna be a feeling that's gonna match this.
This is the biggest
no-
feeling in the world.
Yeah, kind of thing.
All you gotta
Like,
do
this
is
is
you
why
gotta
porn's
beat it
everywhere.
down and make it look like it's shit, and then when you go to actually do it, you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's kind of
Honestly,
what I
I've
had in my
gotten-
mind. Like I
I've
was more
gotten
terrified.
blowjobs that were better than the sex.
I'm still
Mind
virgin,
you.
though.
Mind you, the blowjobs were from dudes, so they did know what they were doing.
I don't know. A dude knows how to handle a dude best, I guess.
I don't know. What were you gonna add to it, Luke?
No, I was gonna say that I had a bit of a different experience because I went into it like a bit terrified, and then also I kind of expected it to be terrible and awkward, but like I think because we ended up waiting until like we were both 18, and then we've been talking about it for like a couple of years before then, and I think just talking about it and like kind of trying to be as knowledgeable before going into it, I think it just made it better.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Would you say, Xeno, like, I don't, feel free to not answer, but would you say that you frequently masturbated or watched pornography before you lost your virginity to sex?
Absolutely.
So do you think maybe that, like, the amount
Like
of what
that's
you
set
had
up an
available to you?
I think that's set up an expectation for sex.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
that's what I was
just
gonna ask.
like the porn and the hentai and all that like set up that sex was this amazing feeling that's like better than drugs kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then I had it and I was just like, this is kind of like it.
It's the case of overconsumption causes depreciation.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, I was like, cool, I lost my virginity and I was like hyped about that. But then after that died down, I was like, man, I could have stayed home and masturbated
Oh.
and it had it better.
You know what it is? You know what's a good example of it? When people first try weed and they try to chase that purple dragon again. That whole saying.
kind of
Ride the dragon.
wanting
Yeah.
that really intense feeling, I suppose.
Yeah, like that first time feel again.
I don't know. Like, speaking as still a virgin, again, Xeno, you have made me very depressed with that because that's exactly how I think. I'm like, oh,
Worst
Sex-
$160 I've ever spent.
you. It's just, I don't know. It's like that's the same exact fucking like idea I have through my head. Not that it's going to be 100% perfect or something like that, but that it's going to be a very great feeling. But
Mm-hmm.
I think
You ever
And-
fuck a fleshlight?
Yeah.
No.
About the same.
don't say that. Don't say that.
It's
It's
about
definitely
the same.
Don't
not the
say that.
same.
It's about
Okay,
the
thank
same.
God. At least someone else is saying that it's
What?
not the same. Thank fucking
It's
Christ.
not. Well, actually, I wouldn't know. I'm still virgin. So I'm here with you,
Oh,
Jesse.
I forgot you're also a fucking virgin.
Yeah,
I
I
was
have
just-
a girlfriend.
I was just
don't have
like,
sex.
girlfriend equals not a virgin anymore.
No,
You
some
don't
people, some
have to
people
have sex
abstain.
to have a girlfriend.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, I think sometimes, and you can feel free to disagree, but I think sometimes just living in the fantasy might be better. You know what I mean?
It is.
It
It
is.
can be.
Because
Yeah.
I would agree.
you would
Yeah.
agree.
Like I would also agree.
I thought one of you
Um,
would disagree. Like I've always
No.
had people
No.
disagree with
I
that.
I disagree with like the sex part, but I agree with most other things in life. Like the expectation is better than the reality in most cases.
Yeah, but do you think it's
Yeah.
okay to live in that fantasy rather than face up to it? You know?
Um, Again, I
Certain
think it's based on
situations.
certain situations. But to give you a concrete answer, I don't think it's healthy to live in a fantasy, like because I feel like there's a difference between fantasy and what's the word I'm looking for?
Reality.
No, there's a difference between fantasy and delusion in my eyes.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
so like for example, like you have a fantasy that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna dick this bitch down. I'm gonna absolutely throw her around. It's gonna be wild. Now that's like delusion. Fantasy would be, oh, this is gonna feel great. We're gonna be in absolute euphoria. See, that's more like possible to happen versus the other thing.
Right.
Mhm.
Having some amount of reality to the situation, not like, you know, oh, I'm gonna have the greatest fucking relationship in a year. Just you wait. You know, that's very delusional. Whereas being like, I would very much enjoy a good relationship that, we're able to talk to each other. Whereas that's just kind of like a fantasy, You
Yeah,
can't
I've always
predict
set
it.
up the I've always set up the expectation for myself, even when I was like a younger teenager. I even set up the expectation for myself then of like if I ever get in a relationship that's like long time standing, I want something that I don't really have to lie to the other person. It's just somebody that can always accept me for what I am and who I am.
All right.
But even that like just seems like it's not a plausible 100% guarantee going forward in the future. The more I interact with people, it's like, oh, you're way too open about everything. Like that's an issue. That's a comment I get a lot from people, is that
Right.
I'm way too open about a lot of things, that I'm not a type of person to kind of like lie and hide shit about myself,
Yeah.
which I always thought was fucking weird. I'm like, what do you mean? Do you want me to be constantly lying about everything in my life, or should I just like not talk? What?
Oh, I mean, apparently a lot of women like assholes, so.
I think it's maybe like a gray area kind of deal, which is what I like to call basically sitting on the fence. You don't like being too reserved or too open, is a negative. You kind of have to be in somewhere in the middle, I suppose, you know.
I feel like there is a balance to be struck with that, and what I mean by that is so you're saying that like you're very open with people. Do you tell them like everything, like every little detail about yourself?
No,
No?
I'm just
Okay.
pretty open. Like if somebody asks a question, I'll answer it.
So I think for me personally, I think there's a fine line between, like being open and honest and, just having like your own personal stuff. Because I feel like you don't have to tell, because I have my stuff I don't tell my girlfriend, but it's nothing that's like cheating on her or anything like that. It's more so like you know, what's your what's my preference on
Yeah,
something?
your opinion.
Yeah, like my opinion. Like I
Mhm.
don't have to give her all of my opinions.
Right.
I don't think I would give her all of my opinions just because, you have to keep.
Specifically the political
Yeah, I
ones.
wish you'd stop
Yeah,
fucking nagging at me about the dog.
yeah.
Oh,
I think that's I agree with that. Very you can't put everything out there. It's I suppose maybe an overload, I guess. I'm not
Yeah,
really too sure.
because I feel like people who want to be really open, that's fair, like that's fair enough. Like maybe you want to tell your partner like everything about you. But I feel like you need to remember that like they have to like I don't want to say take on the burden, but like they also have to like know that like these things that you're dumping on them, like they have to listen to this and they might like have their own things
Yeah.
that and then they might feel bad for not
Yep.
telling you private things that they don't want to talk about because you're like so open sort of thing.
Maybe they're
mm, mm.
maybe they feel so full of information. It's kind of they
Yeah.
have to
I really fill people up.
it's
Shut up.
like if they're like, oh, I really enjoy avocado toast, and you're like, I
Damn.
fucking hate avocado
I
toast,
do
dude.
fucking hate avocado toast.
Right.
Ew, I hate avocado on anything.
But imagine
Damn.
that times like I don't know 100, like 100 of those small facts, and they gotta be careful not to bring up avocado toast and how much they love it, because you might be like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. I hate that.
Or it's a case of they go and ask you, do you remember what my favorite thing to put on toast is? And you're like, oh shit, I forgot. You have to remember
Oh.
everything as well because they said it.
Oh,
They
no.
want to see if you're paying
Maybe
attention.
I don't know, maybe it's a woman thing of just like if I answer a question, she expects me to give like some resistance to the question.
All right.
You know, like I don't know.
I think
Like
relationships
you
are just
asked,
tricky.
did you want the answer or no? You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, woman.
I think relationships in general are just they can be tricky sometimes, you know. It's it's very tough to kind of account for every little thing, and you definitely don't want to be with someone who's going to just overreact over some situation, you know? Especially when it's not something that would need an overreaction, you know what I mean?
You
Like
put pickles on my toast. I want a divorce.
I do want a divorce from that. What the fuck? How dare you?
it just seems like a lot of the women that I know are very, you know, they're very quick to be like, nope, that's it, bye bye, you know. And I don't know if it's also because of the previous thing of like, I think because of the internet, a lot of people feel like they have a wider net, you know, they have more options available to them, so it doesn't matter if, you know, this person has this one small thing that they don't like, you know, they can move on to the next one or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think, and maybe it's the same way for men. We don't, you know, there's no female here to be like, well, it's the same thing for guys. But I think a lot of people in relationships, they are ready to just be like, oh, you don't like cheese? Okay, I can't date you. Bye bye. You know, it's,
Fascinate a woman with a slice of cheese.
yeah, I think it's just, people kind of struggle to
By women's
be
love, a giant
understanding.
block of cheese.
Man, I would fucking marry a woman if she gave me like a pound of cheese.
Giant wheel of cheese.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn that wheel into a ring.
I think
Wheel.
I think in my opinion, I think a relationship is it's a big thing. Like a lot of people just kind of like date, you know, just so that they can I don't know, be with people. But I think people have to remember that you're kind of hitching your life to someone else's.
Yeah.
So I
That's
feel
the most-
like
That's a bit too much of a commitment. Sometimes it's like you're dating to figure out if you're compatible or not.
That's mostly high school, middle school, and some of college, from what I've seen. That does that. Or it's just I want to date to date, and nothing comes of it.
Yeah, I can see both of, you know, Luke's and Xeno's kind of point of view of like, you know, you don't really want to commit your full self to someone, especially if you don't know if you're going to be compatible, you know. But then there's the vice versa of like, you know, if you don't put too much into it, then maybe your partner is going to be like, oh, they're probably not interested then, something like
And
that.
nothing's gonna actually come of it.
I think a lot of people are just together because like, why not?
They don't feel needed.
Yeah.
I
They
guess.
had kids.
I
They
think
had kids together. Now
I think
they're
with
together.
I think with humans, it's kind of like inbuilt into us to like not be alone. I think we always need to be
Well, we're
around
eusocial
other people.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we're meant to be with other people.
there's also the same fact of a man in a breakup. They can lock themselves in a room and not do relationships for a long time, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
They just cut themselves off from the world because of their depression. And then I see some women that are just, once they break up, they go to the next one.
I think men feel very hurt when they put their feelings on the line and they are smashed to bits, I suppose. I
Their pride has been shattered.
wouldn't even say
I've
it's just that.
seen
It's not
men.
even pride,
I've
it's
seen men
some-
actually do. I've seen guys that do both.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah, they do
for
both.
example,
It's on both sides, of course.
yeah, like for example, my sperm donor. Every other month he was with a different woman. He's like, oh yeah, she's the one, and he just like would drop one and fucking go on to the next one, and then disappear for 5 years, and then come back, and he has a new one
I have to question why you called him sperm donor.
because he's not my father. You have to earn being called my
That kind.
father.
I thought you were just saying, like, I hate this guy, I'm gonna call him sperm donor.
I thought it was just
I-
a bit.
Eh?
No, he was He's my father, but not my father.
He's biologically
you
your
know.
father, but emotionally he's not.
Emotionally not.
He's
He
your
may be your
he's
father,
your
but he's
father,
not
but
your
he's
daddy.
fucking Shinlar. You stole from me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got him.
It's his podcast.
It's my podcast. It's my
It's
podcast.
stolen now. It's mine, boy.
But yeah, no, that's why I call him that. So
Yeah.
I always refer to him as sperm donor because that's all he really is to me.
What's his actual name? Let's dox him.
Well, then you'd
No,
also
no.
dox me because we have the same last name.
Just first name basis.
You think your lack of a strong male model made you bisexual?
Oh,
No, I have my
we're getting
grandpa to be
deep.
my model.
I'm
My
sorry.
gramps to be a model.
That's fair enough.
Danny DeVito's
So
my
Justy-
male model.
Yeah.
Justy, I feel like we should throw it to you for a change here.
What's up?
I have a question for you. So you said that you are a virgin, right?
Yes.
And have you ever had like a relationship before, like with a woman?
I don't know. I think I mean, yes, I have, but that was all the way back in middle school is when I had my last relationship.
Oh, baby Justy.
God damn it, Justy! You can't keep doing this.
What do you mean? What?
My last relationship was also at the end of middle school.
I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you, Xeno. Get out of my fucking
I
life.
hate you. I hate you so much.
It's just
You want to know what my last relationship before my current one was?
so
2 years
fucked.
ago.
So I think the question I was really trying to ask, like get to the end, like the meat of was do you think, now this is just me kind of trying to do an observation,
Yeah.
but do you maybe think you've not had one since, or like as like an adult, because like you've got like a fear of rejection?
I think that is a big part of it, yeah. I think it's you know, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the people. I think it's two things. I think it's the fear of rejection because of not being in a relationship or not being around enough enough females. You know, I don't know. That sounds such like a fucking neckbeard thing to say. I haven't been around the females, you know. But you know, I feel like I haven't talked to many women, so I don't really have that sort of connection, I suppose. Like I talk to my mom all the time, but she's like the furthest thing from a woman, you know what I mean? Like
That
she-
seems like an insult.
she acts very much like a fucking hillbilly or something like that. She acts more like a man than I do. So
So she's a tomboy.
yeah, basically she's very much like a fucking independent mom kind of attitude or something like that. So I feel like I can't really apply that to women I may meet because it's very much like, you know.
But it's what you grew up with.
It's what I grew up with.
But you
And
know.
I didn't have any sisters and I didn't really like hang around my female cousins or anything like that. So I think there's that. But I think the other part of it is that I've seen so many fucked up relationships growing up via either friends or my own mom. You know, it's like, I don't know. For me, it's I guess that's also the scary part about it. It's like, is this what relationships are? If so, I don't want to be in one, you know, where they're like fucking arguing over like, did you put mayonnaise on my sandwich? I'm gonna fucking kill you, you know. It's
Oh god, I've actually done that before.
you see, that's what I mean. It's like, I don't know.
But it's done
Yeah.
playfully when I do it.
Yeah, as long as playful. I know some people that are just, you know, they take it very
quick-
serious.
Quick
Oh my
side
god,
note.
if you put mayonnaise on my cheeseburger, and then I just take it and scrape off the shit into the sink.
Yeah, what's that, Xeno?
So quick side note that's unrelated to any of this. Fox is still on the level.
Yeah, he's been at it for like over an hour now. It's 33. Holy shit!
Fox is currently Sisyphus, bro. Honestly, I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
Oh
Fox is.
god, it is.
Completely unrelated. I tuned in real fast to see and saw that, and I just started fucking crying almost.
Oh god.
But
But anyways, what's your thoughts on Sisyphus? Anyways.
to wrap that whole thing up, yeah, I would definitely say those are the two big ones. You know, there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to move forward. You know, I think I don't know. That's also the big issue, right?
Baby steps, Justy.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, using you
Is
and
that he
Luke as an
doesn't want to
example.
have a baby.
Oh, well, no, I that's the thing. I'm also divided on that, having kids or not. You know, it's more of a genetic
I'm
issue at that point, though. But just to,
I'm of the mind of not having children, but like being like, I could also see myself having a kid.
I wouldn't mind adopting. I just don't want my genes to continue on. I feel like they're fucked.
Yeah, um,
Yeah, you don't want to give him
so-
multiple sclerosis. Yeah,
Well, I don't
I-
think that's genetic, but yeah.
I don't
It
think
is.
it is. Oh,
No,
is it?
it's not.
I think pretty sure it is.
Not.
All right, we need to have information stream right now.
It's because I didn't have enough vitamin D in my body, and my immune system said,
Oh,
you gonna do that? Let's attack the fucking brain, boy. So,
I'm gonna look this up right now.
but as a quick
Multiple. It isn't inherited. Okay,
little
I'm
bit,
wrong.
I'll just say
Oh,
that
okay.
using Luke and Schindler as an example, it seems like you both kind of had your relationship develop because of, at least with Luke, it was because you were in a place where you were forced to be together, right? You were in school, you kind of grew together, and then you became a couple. Schindler, I'm pretty sure you said that your relationship is because that was someone who was in a friend group that you hang out with, consistently, right? And then you both talked, and then you grew together, and now you're a relationship. You're in a couple.
Fun fact: the relationship actually fell through in the first month,
See,
and then we fixed it up and got better.
yeah, and yeah, and
And she's
that's
like,
exactly
I
what I
promise
mean.
not
It's
to
like,
put mayo on your sandwich anymore. I promise.
but you grew as a person, is what I'm trying to say, and I feel like
Of
for
course.
me, I don't know where to even go. Like where would I put myself to be? It's not even like directly, where's the women I want to date? Where's the women I want to date? But it's more of like, where would I put myself in a position to even form a relationship, even a friendship with someone like that? I'm
Yeah.
I guess it's a me issue, but
Yeah.
No, it's not a you issue. It's a me issue too, man. Like
Actually, it is kind of a him issue because he attracts more guys than he does women.
you know what? You're right.
and it's
Get them pucker them lips, brother.
I would say also that it's like, I isolate myself within my own server, my own circle. I curate the people. I don't put myself out there.
Yeah, well, like I put myself out there and I still get nothing. Like, so
You see, and yeah, that's the big part. That's the big reason.
I think I've had to give you like solid advice that wasn't just put yourself out there. I've had to give you like legit man to man advice. I would say, and this is gonna sound like a fucking touch grass moment, but I feel like you should put yourself outside
Yeah.
your house more. Like I feel like there's probably like local clubs, or like we were talking earlier about like the program
clubs are
and
awful,
stuff.
though.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
if like
yeah.
even if you went to that just to like meet people and
Just being part of the
make friends.
community around.
Yeah, basically, yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe even this is gonna sound weird as well, but like maybe your mother like knows another parent that has a child or something. Like they might not necessarily also
Arranged marriage.
yeah, well, not arranged, just like here's a friend sort of thing.
I feel like every friend of your mother would, if they had children, they would all be autistic. Justy.
Here's a little fun fact. My mom once tried to hook me up with a teenager when I was 20. So
Oh God.
Oh, okay. I take that back.
So let's not do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
No,
maybe just get out
she's
in
like,
the
oh,
community.
she's 16. You can date her, and I'm like, Mom, I'm
Okay.
20.
20.
Hello. It's like, dude, I don't know. That's fucking wicked. It's even weirder because she fucking, I think my aunt was hanging out with her as well, so she brought both of them over. Bro. She brought both of them over, and she's like, oh, that's the girl I want you to date. And the girl was like, oh, hi. I was like, listen, you're a very nice girl, but I'm not going to date you. I'm just letting you know. And it's like, I don't know, what a fucking awkward situation. That just, reoccurred in my brain, you know. I
God,
just
that just
remembered
fucking,
that.
She's
that just like
you know-
unlocked a core memory for me as well.
Wait,
Um,
Stop.
Jesse, you said you were 20 when this happened, right?
Yeah.
She's legal now. Pugors.
You're right.
you-
You know what you could have done instead of saying obviously this is like a shoulda coulda woulda,
Yeah.
but like what you could have done was maybe instead of saying just so you know I'm not gonna date you, you could have just like kind of like obviously just like been friends and then maybe
she was
like
16.
what yeah, but right, this is a different conversation because the age of consent is different in my country, right?
I
I'm
don't
not
care what your
I'm
country
not-
is.
I'm
18
not-
is 18.
Fucking knew
I'm
it.
not saying it's right or anything, right? But I've known people that were like 20 and knew 16-year-olds, but they didn't date them. They were
Right.
just like friends with them, and then through that person, that 16-year-old, had friends that were in their 20s as well, that sort of
Ah.
thing.
So
so like-
using them as a connection.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah,
I
kind
see.
of like connections, yeah.
I gotta go to the local kindergarten and be like, hey,
Welcome
know anyone?
kindergarten.
Hey,
you know anyone? Hey,
Hey.
you know anyone?
yeah, I know my
Your
mom.
big sister old enough, bro.
How old's your sister?
How
Oh,
does
God.
your mom date 20-year-olds? Please.
His mom. Wait, his mom is 21.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. MILFs are pretty hot to me. I'm gonna be
You're
Those
honest.
are pretty hot.
goddamn right.
Mature women
You
are
know,
like
I didn't
spice of
I
life,
didn't get
baby.
it.
I
I
can see
didn't
it.
get it at first. All
I
right. For the
got
longest
it
time.
once I hit that
I-
age.
Yeah. So I didn't understand liking older women for the longest time. And then I lost my virginity to an Asian cougar, and then I understood. And I got it. I got it afterwards.
Aren't you the same guy who was like, yeah, it sucked. I fucking hated it.
Well, it was still a fun experience.
That's good.
I'm not
Oh,
saying
it
that
sucked,
this.
but I enjoyed it.
See, I'm
Yeah,
surprised
like-
it's not because if she was experienced. Like I thought, like, you might. I thought you would have had a good better time, to be honest.
Well,
Hey.
I'm saying like her pussy wasn't amazing, but
Ah.
like the actual experience itself was pretty fun.
Made
Welcome
you
to
feel
the guy
comfortable, maybe?
cast.
Yeah.
The guy cast? Let's
Guy
talk about
cast,
women.
just some guy
issues.
cast.
guy
dude.
cast.
I started
How much
bleeding
we-
recently,
Yeah,
guys.
how about that male
Yeah.
gaze, bro? How about that?
Guys, you got
Have
which do
your
you
tits
prefer? Do you
also
prefer
started getting
tampons or
darker?
pads?
Oh, bro, I'm a pad man all the way.
Wait a minute. That's not a man.
Wait a minute, that's not a woman. That's a man dressed as a woman. That's a
Talk-
different cock.
Talk about trans people. Am I right?
No,
Am I right?
This is not Bibble Babble, man.
This is
Aw.
not the time to.
This
bibble
isn't even
babble
bibble
about the
babble. This is
trans.
within the flesh. We're supposed to be.
I
like,
know, I know.
fucking-
It's in the
Yeah,
flesh.
I'm
that's
supposed to
why
be
I'm not-
slicing you people open, digging inside,
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, you have this issue.
Oh.
Let's talk about it." Okay.
This is kind of freeformed at this point.
This
I-
is just freeform. That's all this is. But actually, going back on a previous topic that sorry, I keep forgetting your fucking Luke said.
Call him
Sorry, I'll
Skywalker.
remember.
It's because
I'll
of his
remember his
fucking
name
name.
eventually. I'll remember his name eventually.
It's because his thing is still listen and learn instead of Luke. Or punish Luke.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
But going back to what he was saying about like putting yourself out there and shit, like I've done that. I've done the whole fucking putting myself out there with like dating apps. I've looked around my area. Although the issue for me is I live in fuck all nowhere. So meeting people outside of the house by just like walking around isn't really an option.
Have you
Unless I want to
tried?
just chase down somebody on the street.
Yeah, have you
like,
tried
"Hey,
chasing
hey."
down women in the middle of the night?
I have, and then the cops got called. It was a weird experience.
Have you tried maybe like because obviously there's a few relationships in this Discord that are online and then became in person. Have you
I'm
tried
not-
something like that?
I'm not a fan of online relationships due to
Hey.
my experience with them. Shut up. Due to
Well,
my
apparently, fuck you. I have
due to
met
my
them.
due to my experience with long distance relationships, I'm not a big fan of them unless they're within 12 hours drive time away from me.
Right.
Because 12 hours drive time for me is 6 different states that I could get to. So like that's still a pretty big distance, but
Yeah.
that's like time I could get there within a day feasibly.
And it's,
I'll just be tired by the time I get there.
and it's kind of pointless to try and date someone that's like all the way in a different country, you know? Especially if you never planned to like visit
Leave.
them
Yeah.
or leave, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're planning to move or have them move to you. God forbid, don't ever have that. um,
I will not move
It-
to where my girlfriend lives. Fuck that.
yeah, that's just asking for trouble down the road.
No, no,
Um,
I'm saying because of exactly where they live. I don't mind saying
live
where
in
they live.
Russia?
They live in fucking New York.
New
Ugh.
York.
I'm good.
I've had to deal with some New York rats. No, thank you. Oh,
Cockroaches and
Let's
like
talk
it.
about your
the
dad
rodents
issues.
too, but no.
Let's talk about your daddy issues.
This
But,
is within the
I
flesh.
need to
Let's-
finish my dating issues. Hold on. So like I've done the whole put yourself out there thing, and then just recently there was the one, like I said, that I got shot down like hard on. Then before that, I put myself out there again with this one chick that lived like 2 states away. Um, we met on Discord through another friend group, and I was just like, fuck it. I'll be like, hey, yo, would you be down to like go out since we kind of get along a little bit? And like, we didn't know each other for very long. I was just like, I might as well shoot my shot at this point. This was before the worst thing they can say is no happened.
Um,
But
I just have a question about like your approaches to women.
yeah,
So when you're like initially like starting the whole, you know, the quote unquote courting, like you know, if you know what that means, the courting phase, like
yeah,
like the
where I
talking to them.
peacock.
Yes, basically, yeah. So when you're approaching like that kind of phase, like I like the people like know like the you like the real you, like do you kind of like let them know like like as soon as you meet them, I like this, I like that, I'm this, I'm that sort of thing?
No,
Or okay. And then once like you kind of like initiate the would you like to go on a date sort of thing, like how do you come across when you're asking that kind of question? Are you like a text guy?
I
Are
don't
you
have
like
like
a
a I don't have like a fucking modus operandi.
no, I
It's
mean like
just kind of
how
go
do
with
you
the
Guide.
flow.
like do you prefer like do you text them or do you prefer like to
Listen
actually
to
like
voice,
okay
like
voice
talk.
okay
Yeah, I talk to people for sure.
all right
I if I can avoid text messaging people at any cost, I absolutely will. I will
yeah
100% be
I
like,
don't like text
I'll
messages
I hate text messages because so many misconceptions can be conveyed through text messages.
Yeah.
You can read text a thing and know exactly what it means, but the moment you send it, it's up to debate as to whether or not the person that receives it reads it in the same inclination that you meant it.
Yeah.
Which has led me to many issues with people where I've like sent joking messages and they're like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? What? What?" Like I was just joking around. What's going on?
You could be like,
You know?
fuck you, person. It's like that haha, fuck you, dude? Or is it a
Yeah.
fuck you, dude?
Yeah. You know, exactly.
Fuck you, dude.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Of like, I will avoid texting as much as possible. I'll shoot a text message and be like, "Hey, bro, you down to like chat or game?" If they go, I'm down to chat, but only through text," I'll be like, "You got to be able to like voice talk later, because I'll wait until then." I will wait until you're ready to talk on voice, because I am not doing text if I don't gotta.
so like was it like just like recently was it just that one person that's like ever shot you down or like has it
Oh
been
no,
like
she shot me down too.
okay and like what was like you don't have to tell us exactly because it might be a bit embarrassing but like what was the vibe of why you got shot down like is there anything like you could
Because we didn't know each other long enough.
okay well I mean that's
Curious.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, well, we could like just hang out, and that's fine. We can hang out and like just be friends. I figured I'd just shoot my shot if I should.
yeah
And then she agreed, and then we hung out for a while. And then all of a sudden, she ghosted me like 3 months later.
Hmm,
It was a
felt creeped
we
out at
we
that
don't
point.
really know each other that well. But what I really meant to say was, I don't fucking want to date you, dude. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
yeah some women kind of do that like they don't say what they mean sort of thing like,
That's what
it's
I
kind
would
of
do.
it's unfair to the guy
The worst she can say is no.
Let
Ew.
him on.
Ew. And then his whole life ruined.
Yeah.
I feel like rejection's okay.
It is.
Rejection
It
is
happens every day.
just fine until they say you, and then a rejection is I'm gonna die
Why would,
right
I
now,
want
right
to
here.
die.
I don't know why some people do that.
I feel like if a
Uh-huh.
woman said that to me, like if I was dating, I feel like in my mindset, if a woman's like being like that with me, like saying ew and stuff like that, I would think to myself, Jesus fucking Christ, thank God I avoided that. That person seems so fucking shallow. Thank God.
Yeah.
My
This
rule of
coming from the
thumb,
person that had the arranged marriage at 10.
Well,
my rule of
Has
thumb
never
with
had to experience it.
I'm glad, Bob, because women are brutal these days. Like I don't know, I'm so
You
glad
have
I
yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
like
women can be like
That's
my,
the issue. That's what we're talking about.
Then
Yeah,
again-
women are fucked nowadays.
well,
it's
no,
all
I
the
wouldn't say that.
microplastics.
So
I wouldn't say women
them
are
aggressive.
I wouldn't say women are fucked. I just think I don't know. I don't want to be the guy that's like, maybe you're just meeting the wrong women because that's
You're-
that's
I mean,
Dude, that
that's
is-
part
That's
of it.
definitely
That's
a
not-
arranged marriage at 10 answer right there.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't
But
arranged, but
I mean,
You're meeting the wrong
Yeah.
people, you know.
I mean, definitely like there is you're meeting the wrong people. That comes back on to what I was saying before of why you don't want to commit yourself immediately to someone you're dating. Because like not that like, oh, don't get into a committed relationship, but I'm saying like, you don't want to commit yourself if you don't know if it's gonna work out and like for example, friend groups. I've been in multiple friend groups in like the past 3 years. I've probably gone through like 8 or 9 of them.
So,
It's a lot.
but you know,
you really don't.
that's
you really
me.
don't. Shut up. Stop it. Stop having my life.
I've also been through multiple
Stop.
fucking friendship groups, dude. What the fuck?
But like what I've learned through all this trauma and experience is that you really don't know somebody until you've known them for a full year. At least.
Yep.
And that like doesn't just apply to dating, that applies to friends, that applies to like coworkers and all that shit. You just really don't know somebody until you've known them for at least
I feel like even then sometimes that because like for example, I had like a really good friend who like I work with, and he'd been my friend for like 6 years, and then like the whole pandemic thing like happened, and then like he started to like really show like his true colors when it like when push came to shove in some situations. Like he showed what like his character, and I feel like that was the case for most of my friends. Like they showed who they truly were, and some of those people kind of like became toxic, and some of them became even better people than I thought they were, just because like there was like adversity put in their path. So I feel like even though like if you like some people might take a year of when you think you know them, but I feel like there's still a lot more that you could learn about someone. Maybe might even take like most of your life to try and figure someone out. Like it just people
Yeah, but
tell
I'm just saying most people reveal like the general type of person they actually are after.
Kind of like your situation,
in
Luke. You said
general.
that you still have some things that you haven't revealed to your partner. Not anything like super serious, like oh I cheated on her or anything like that, but your opinions and stuff.
yeah, like there's some things that I obviously don't like. Some things that she doesn't care about. Like for example,
Yeah.
what's my favorite sports team? That's something she doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a shit about sports. Like that, just that kind of stuff. Like
It's
What if she
something that
does
she
give a shit
could
about
learn.
sports though?
He doesn't need to learn that you love time splitters.
I just don't love
Yeah.
time splitters. Something
Blasphemy.
that she probably could learn that really doesn't matter is like, for example, like what my favorite song is, because we haven't really talked about that before. I know her favorite song, but it's never came up where it's like she's asked me what's your favorite song.
You never played 21 Questions with her?
God, it is
No.
hard to actually pin what a favorite song would be, though.
Yeah, I already know. I know what my favorite song is, but like obviously,
Yeah, same here.
yeah.
There's a lot of things like I used to as a kid be like, oh yeah, my favorite of this is that. It's like it's so easy to answer nowadays as I'm older and I've experienced so much more. I'm like, I don't really have a favorite of anything at this point. Now it's just kind of like I have a favorite group, but no one that stands above the others in any shape or form in any medium.
I'm gonna be
I can tell
honest.
you what my favorite song is right now. It's a Tous les mots by Megadeth.
See,
Oh.
here, this is what I was about to discuss. How do you people do it? how do you people like share
What?
your fucking music interests or whatever? Like whenever someone wants to be like, yeah, I like this song. I'm like, I don't fucking care, dude. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
don't
it's
know.
just
Like
trying
this
to
is
find
probably like
common
a
ground.
fucking mean person thing to do, but like, I just I don't know. I have my own fucking
It's just
taste of
finding
music.
common ground. That's all it is.
I
See
don't
if
know.
you guys actually like similar things. That's all it really is.
Is it? I don't know.
Eh,
Maybe I'm too fucking tism with my taste in
You're
music.
going too deep into it.
It's
You're
not
too
even that.
tismed
It's just
out.
like whenever I
I
hear
mean,
anyone else's fucking music, it's like, dude, I don't care. I fucking hate this.
like we both like Elton John, don't we?
Yeah, I like his popular songs, I suppose.
Eh. Oh yeah, did you listen to the Pink Phantom I sent you?
No,
You didn't?
no,
That was Gorillaz. It has a minute.
okay,
Thought you might like it.
I don't care.
You see,
That's all.
this is why like I think
This
me
is why you're single, is what he was gonna say.
no, I
Probably.
think this is
You're
I
not
think this
accepting
is
of others.
why I think this happened recently as well. Before, like I try not like I don't blurt things out like because I kind of feel the same way as Justy. So like that's why like that's kind of like why you'll hear me say like usually when I'm asking things I'll be like, "Hey Justy, would you like to know what my top 5 games are?" And then I'll wait for him to say yes or no.
Yeah.
No.
And if he says
Dude,
no, I'm like, okay, fair enough.
that's like a number one fucking issue of today. Like, I think that's what everybody fucking lacks, you know? And maybe the reason why I
Overshare.
just really
Maybe.
hate some people, it's people shoving fucking information in my face or down my ears that I didn't ask about. Like it is literally the we do not care and the like I didn't ask fucking thing. Like it's like if I don't know, it's like if any of you were talking about like, oh yeah, and in this dimension, and I was like, did someone mention dimension? Did you know that like Blender 3D has 3 dimensions and you can do the subdivision in
care.
Blender? And it's like, I don't fucking care, dude, And I feel like that's how everyone
Mhm.
is nowadays. It's like, oh, you like this music? Let me fucking slam you with what I like. And it's like, I didn't ask.
So so I kind of
Yeah.
have like a hypothetical for you. So if it was
Yes, I would fuck that be.
if me and you are sitting like maybe just watching a TV show together, just to like we're just kind of chilling at your house, right?
Yeah.
And I turn to you, like maybe like something on the TV like sparks the question, and like I turn to you and I'm like, hey, did you like hear about that piece of news that happened today? Like, would that annoy you that I've asked you that question, like just out of nowhere, like when you didn't ask, or would you like it because I've asked you? Did you hear about this?
Oh no, that's a hard one. So go ahead and ask the. Go ahead. We're in the hypothetical right now. We're on the couch.
Uh-huh.
We're watching the movie. Go ahead. Just straight out do the question. Do be
All
like,
right, so let's just say we're watching like let's just say we're watching like a Spider-Man or something, right?
yeah, yeah.
And like maybe like he's swinging through like New York, and then maybe like earlier on in the day I've heard like a piece of news, and I go, "Hey, Justy, did you hear that?" Okay, so you wouldn't.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope. That's fucked.
you wouldn't like that.
That's fucked. It's just like I'm watching Spider-Man.
I don't want to hear about
I
9/11
don't
while
fucking
I'm
care,
watching
dude.
Spider-Man.
It's random information. It's just like
Yeah.
if it the core thing that I'm watching with you right now is Spider-Man. If you want to bring up like, oh, did you know that in one of his other fucking he actually blew up the towers in an issue before, right? In a comic issue, I'd be like, oh, really? I didn't fucking know that. That's actually pretty cool.
Ah, right. I think I get your mindset now. Like it's not that
You want the
don't.
conversation to stay related.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that you don't suffer fools gladly. It's a situation where it's like, why are you completely like talking about something that
Why are you
random?
derailing the fucking
You
conversation?
wanted to stick
Yeah.
to the
Like,
theme and not the background.
Like,
Like,
I
did you
understand if
know
people
that
want
the
to talk
human
about something
anus-
else. It's like earlier in the fucking in this podcast, I think I was saying something about cheese or something. I was really on point, and fucking Shinlar and Xeno were like, "Yeah, I'm fucking women with cheese." Man,
Yeah,
if a
this
woman
is-
gave me a cheese
yeah.
wheel, and I'm like, wasn't I just
Yes,
talking
cheese.
about something?
You got my
You took
mind
cheese
on
out of the
cheese.
situation.
I want cheese.
Cheese,
Delicious.
the cheese, man.
It's
the
just-
cheese.
It's just random information that it's You know what it is? You know what I think it
You
is?
just don't like autistic people.
It's that. But it's also that it's like, and I think that's the relation
Oh,
of
it's
it
probably because you didn't hear the thing I had said before it.
more than likely. But I think the big issue with that whole thing is that I grew up with these type of people where it's like I'm playing fucking Crash Bandicoot, right? And they just are shitting information in my ear. And it's like, did you know that Crash was actually in Japanese Spin Man Ultra? And it's like, what?
Was he?
What do you mean? I don't like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm finding
you-
hard examples,
this
but
this question I might ask. I hope you don't take it the wrong way, but it's
go
a
ahead.
genuine question.
go ahead.
Do you think that might be like not a symptom, but like a
Autism.
byproduct of antisociality? I think I don't know if I'm saying that right. Or
What
being
the fuck
antisocial.
did you just ask?
Do you
I
think
think-
that's like a byproduct of being antisocial? Like, do you think you're antisocial?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. I would
Okay.
say it's hard for me to relate to other people and their interests. It's not like one of those fucking issues of like, oh, it's gotta all be about me. It's gotta be about me, you know? Like you could fucking sit here and talk about you know, your interest, right? I'm not gonna fucking be like, this doesn't relate to me. What the fuck, dude? But if I don't know, it's just nothing burger information I hate. It's small talk information, you know? It's like, what am I supposed to do with this information? You know what I mean? There's no
You're supposed to compartmentalize it and
Like-
remember it forever.
I'm just
Yep,
saying,
obviously.
it's like if I told any one of you and I was like, did you know that it's really hard to UV unwrap a model in Blender, right? Because we're talking about like 3Ding or something like that. What are you supposed to do with that? Are you supposed to say, oh, really cool, Justy, thanks for telling me, you know, like,
I would then go, okay, like,
yeah,
tell me
exactly.
about it.
Right? It's like, okay, thanks for the information. Thanks. You know?
Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. I think that's it. I think that's it. It has to be it. Please. I can't just be a fucking antisocial pardo or something like that. I think it's
Well,
And
considering
there
we're pretty
goes the-
similar people, I'm also an antisocial motherfucker. So if you're
I can believe
anything
that.
like me, which you are, you're pretty antisocial, man. Can't
I
hate to
think,
break it to you.
God, you both are fucked.
I think after you've explained it that way, I think I get it a little bit.
yeah.
It's not so much antisocial, it's more like you fucking hate it when someone basically comes in and like derails a topic. Like that's not antisocial, that's just like, I don't want to say someone's been like bad manners for doing that, like maybe someone's
It's just a
passionate about
pet
something.
peeve kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's like, yeah, it
just
ticks
an
you off, yeah.
annoyance, I suppose. Like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna make me fucking like I'm sitting here having a fucking full breakdown tism about it, but that's just me trying to, you know, ramp up the like opinion or like what I'm trying to explain. But in actuality, it's an annoyance to me. You know, it's just derailment as well as there's no purpose to it. It's like going down
It's Bibble Babble.
It's bibble.
It's bibble babble, you know. It's like
Oh,
going
yeah.
down
Well, I
a
think
fucking
travel
dead
cast-
end road. It's what am I
Yeah,
supposed to
but-
do with this?
I
you
think
know?
it's from like just a general like talking point. I get it, but also from like if you're streaming or anything like that, having people that do that kind of shit is good to like keep up the dead air and like to keep content going, especially if they're just saying like out of pocket shit just randomly all the
Yeah,
time.
just like Justin when
People-
he streams.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
hit
like,
you all with a
people-
question, okay?
Yeah, well,
Can I ask you a
are
question?
streamers people? No,
Yes.
streamers are not people.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
Yes.
What was the point of the fucking question right there? Can I ask you a question? That right there. What's the point of that? If you're going to
Ask
ask
a
a
question.
question, just ask the fucking
To
question,
clarify-
right?
Clarify that I'm willing to listen to you. 'Cause
Like
if you ask that and I say no, then I'm not willing to listen to you.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
It
It's
just seems submissive.
it's just a nothing. It's nothing, you know. I'm not saying everything has to be A to B, but like, you know, there's just fucking There's
It seems
nothing.
devoid of human emotion.
That's what I feel like I'm being like bent
Mhm.
over when I'm fucking told random information or asked like questions that lead to nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, what am I supposed? It's like I'm being held fucking verbally hostage by someone. Someone's like,
Yeah.
how's your
Justy, would you like to know how many raccoons can fit upside the human anus?
right? It's like
Oh,
there's probably an actual answer to that, and it's
Three and a
like
half.
unfortunately.
I
It's-
think I think
3.5.
I actually have an example for that because this happened between me and you, Justy, like earlier when I was doing Da Vinci stuff.
yeah, what's up?
Like, I know what you mean. Like, for instance, like whenever like I was trying to figure out how the audio shit worked, you didn't hear me say, for example, "Hey, Justy, can I ask you a question about Da Vinci?" Like, rather than that, I just said, "Hey, do you know how to fix the audio stuff in Da Vinci?" Like, I get what you mean. Like, that infuriates me a little bit as well.
Yeah, it's
Don't ask to ask.
yeah, exactly. It's that I like that's why I'm so fucking freaked out and being all over the place. I don't know how to describe the entire feeling as a whole, you know. It's
You know, it's a good example.
what?
That one time you guys were playing Sonic Racer and Charlie joined in and just typed random bibble babble for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the whole devoid of being emotionally attached to people. I think you really hit the nail on the head there, Luke, with the whole antisocial behavior. I think that is the big kicker to it. It's, you know, I think I'm supposed to be considering the other person's emotions or how they feel about it. Like if you gave me a random game fact, you know, like I don't know, if I'm playing a fucking game similar to something you like and you give me a game fact about your game that doesn't really relate to it, but it has that small teeny little tiny connection, right? I'm supposed to be like, "Oh, that's really cool. Uh, you know, how do you feel about that?" or something like that. But it's very much where's the
You're emotionally
connection?
dampened.
I don't know. I feel like I am. I lived with a fucking bipolar parent, you know. I
You've had your few of emotions
you
from living with that.
yeah, you know, I don't want to be a little trauma boy, but I will say that
Hey, are we both trauma boys?
Are you-
Justy, we're even more similar.
Stop. I
Were you
think
beaten by your mom, Justy? Oh my god.
no, it's just
Was your father also an alcoholic drug user?
no, I just didn't get to know my father because he was a fucking
Oh.
dickhead and he took my
Guys,
mom to
so let's
court.
talk about your daddy issue. Oh my god, wait. Xeno has
He
an
said
he has a sperm donor dad, and you just never met your
I mean, I know I met my dad.
no.
He was just a
Yeah.
fucking dickhead. I remember what was it? I don't want to make this about me, even though it's my podcast. But
It's been about you for the past half hour.
it really has been. But um, I'll sum it up. I would go to visit my dad, appointed by the court, you know, saying I had to do it. But
No.
they got a cat without me, and I like animals, right? I wanted to feel comfortable up there because it's like going to a stranger's house, having to sleep at a stranger's house, right? I didn't feel comfortable. So I would bring the cat up to my room and go to sleep with it, right? And they're like, was the cat laying on your bed? And as a small child, you're like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, you know, I don't want to get fucking in trouble for this. But I was like, no. And they fucking grounded me for the entire week I was there, you know, unable to watch TV, anything like that. And they would watch TV right in front of me, you know, like I don't want to be a trauma boy, but I'm just saying, you know, my dad was a dickhead. You know, I didn't like him, and I'm glad that he's not in my life.
I was gonna say I'm glad he's dead.
I'm fucking
I'm
glad he's
glad
dead.
I'm glad I
Um,
used the shovel on him.
Would you, and this might be stretching a little bit, but I'm trying to take what you're saying and like trying to connect dots sort of thing.
Yeah.
Would you say that like the emotions that you sometimes don't feel for humans, you try and pour that unused energy like into animals? Like 'cause you said you love animals, so I imagine that's like your comfort blanket sort of thing.
Oh, he
Like
loves
when,
cats. He hates dogs.
yeah.
Me and
Would you-
Justy both hate dogs. We
What was
are the
reason
same
for hating
person.
dogs again.
I would say,
Your mom, it's thing.
wait, what?
Heard. Yeah. Your reason for hating dogs.
Oh,
Was it
yeah.
your mom?
My mom had dogs all the time, and they shit on the floor and they shit in my bedroom, and I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? Dude.
That's hilarious.
Hey, speaking of mother,
Speaking of mom,
to
wow.
answer your question, Luke, I like animals, but I still, I don't treat them like humans. I think it's more of I try to emulate those kind of feelings I don't actually feel, I suppose. But one moment. You guys bibble babble.
I'm going to double.
I'm going to not talk at all.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
So,
lied. I'm gonna talk.
all right, cool. Hey, so Luke, tell me a little bit. What's your favorite video game?
My favorite video game is probably The Simpsons Hit and Run.
Kidding.
No, I like that game.
Honestly, would have thought it was Banjo and Kazooie.
No, I mean that's top 3, but yeah.
Okay.
That's very
Oh,
sad.
God,
Those
he's
are your two
back.
go-tos.
I'm back. Hello. My
No,
mom's
shut up. We need to research why his favorite game is Simpsons Hit and Run compared to any other game.
my
You wanna
mom's
you wanna
coming
you
over
wanna
with soup.
hear you wanna hear a real trauma dump as to why that's my favorite game? Like the real shit, a
Sure.
real fucking emotional connection to that game. So when like just before, like I had a great grandmother, right? Like I'm not gonna go into like the traumatic stuff about that, but like she was a Holocaust survivor, right? So like
No, she was.
she w- she was like very very close to me sort of thing, and she didn't understand anything about video games, but she went out of her way to like go and like learn it just because like she loved me so much. And the game she got me, like I don't want to say just before she died, but like the last game she bought me, like just like a few years before like she died, was that game. So now like I kind of cherish that game a lot, like because of that, and I grew up like kind of like like that's like a memory for me. It's more it's not about the gameplay, it's about more like the memory of the game.
Yeah, it's
So that's why it's my favorite game.
a feeling associated, not with the game, but rather just the
Yeah, the
who
memory.
gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like Tony Hawk Skater 3.
I think it's a good. You know, do you think you have any other memories like that, or do you think that's like the strongest one you have? You know,
I do have
about
some
that.
other things like that. Maybe not video game related, but like for example, I have a watch that my great grandfather like had. He wore it during like World War Two. Um, and like that kind of came around with him.
Yeah.
And it's like a really old watch, and I still have it today, and actually I still wear it, and I also like make sure that like to keep it like repaired and maintained and stuff like that. Like, it's cost a lot of money just because how old it is, but like I would rather do that than buy like a new watch just because every time I look down at my wrist, like I can remember like him for that. Like it's like a memory.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yes. Like I don't. This is why like it's hard for me to sometimes relate to people, just because I don't want to say I've had like a perfect childhood, but I've had a different childhood. I don't know if it's a European thing or whatever, but like all my childhood memories like were very happy, and like my relationship is very good and all that kind of stuff, etc., etc. So sometimes I don't want to say I feel guilt sometimes that I didn't experience trauma, but at the same time I feel like that's also I feel silly for thinking that because everybody would like a good life if they could like devoid the trauma.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think it's more of just like the people who you are around. Like, you know, it's
yeah,
all these people who have had these issues. I think there are people who are similar to yourself out there. You know, I think it's just you haven't met them yet. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like I've like we all have our traumas and stuff. Like I've had a few things, but not like when I hear other people talking about their experiences, I don't quite have anything close to that.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Sometimes you get a bit of imposter syndrome, I think, because you're like, did I actually have trauma and I've repressed it? But then, as much as I go back and talk to people and family members, I actually didn't, and that makes me feel a bit strange, like hearing other people's things. Because I think I'm a person that would like to take on other people's burdens and like
I
put
would
on my
love to not have trauma.
yeah, like I would like to take on people's problems that they've experienced and take it on like myself as my like so that they didn't have to. So I'm more of but like I'm a friend group, and in general, I'm more of a guy that's like, hey,
You're an empath.
yeah, kind of. Well, I don't know what that really means, to be honest. I'm like, I'm
Don't
kind of
worry,
like
it's
a,
not real.
I'm kind of like get on my back, I'll carry us to the top type of guy. Like I'm like I eat good, we all eat good sort of thing. Like I hate people, like struggling. I'm very sympathetic to people who struggle and stuff like that, and I want to just help them.
I think I think we're both similar in that way. Would you say it's kind of like, you know, the experiences that you've had growing up, you might see where like it was pretty bad, where or like it could have been pretty shit if someone else experienced it, but for you it was just kind of part of growing up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, but like I think like it wasn't like I grew up without like any hardship. Like I was super like me because I had a single mother. So like we struggled so badly. Like we were very poor and like didn't have much to eat. But I
Yeah.
didn't really see that in my eyes. I don't see that as like a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
probably a bad thing. Maybe I didn't eat every single day, but my mother was like the person that's just like don't look back on the past, like look to like getting through today sort of thing. So like I'm kind of that person as well. I'm like, okay, I don't see my experiences, even if they might have been like bad or traumatic, I don't see that as that. I see it as like a building block to be like the person I'm today sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, it's how people take it in, I suppose. Like, that's how I feel about the situations I've been in. I'm not sitting in my bed or laying in my bed being like, man, this happened to me. I'm so fucked over by this. It's more of like, I've just accepted that's just kind of what it is. It's, I think some things that you may have gone through, like, such as, some nights where you may go uh, starved or not starved, but without food or something like that. I think a lot of people may have interpreted that as a very traumatic event for them.
Yeah.
I think it's just like maybe it's the word itself, trauma. You don't consider it trauma, but you may consider it, something problematic that you went through.
Like an
What's your
awful
thought-
experience, but
What's
not
your
trauma
thoughts on the
specifically.
word trauma dump then?
White
Me?
woman moment.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, you asking me that question, yeah.
Eh,
Yeah.
you and Justy actually.
I think to me, when someone says I don't use those words very often. Like I only use it if like I'm repeating what someone else has said. Like for instance, if Justy's like, yeah, this person trauma dumped on me, I'll be like, okay, fair enough. But like I'm not gonna say names, but like I've helped a few people in this Discord through some hard times. And I don't see that.
I
I don't
could think of one.
like I don't see that as like them trauma dumping on me. I see that as more of like a cry for help sort of thing. So like
Yeah.
so like
I
I'll
think that's
help.
more
I
like
don't
what it
see it
is.
as their trauma dumping on me. Like just not considering my feelings.
Well, there's a
I
difference
think
between trauma dumping and like they are just like venting the
A
situation.
cry for help, yeah.
Yeah, like trauma
Yeah.
dumping is just, oh, my problems are blah 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 blah, and blah blah blah, and everybody needs to hear my problems. That's like trauma dumping. Whereas somebody just kind of being like, hey, day's kind of shit.
Happened. I
Yeah,
kind of want to fucking die. I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah, like there's a difference between those two things.
well, if trauma dumping is just like doing that, like just being like I had a bad day, blah 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 sort of thing, I'd more call that bitching, to be honest. Like that's just bitching because you don't want any
Honestly,
input.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
just don't want input. You just want to like be like scream into the void sort of thing.
For
At
me,
that point, just go outside and yell.
trauma dump is very much like the friend zone. It doesn't really exist. I guess it's more of a word to kind of.
What do you mean the friend zone doesn't exist?
It
It
don't.
absolutely exists.
It doesn't.
He
If someone,
lives in it.
let me put it like this, okay? If I don't want to fuck you, right? Ta-da! I don't want to fuck you, okay? That means
wanna
you're a
fuck
friend. You
you.
were never considered anything more than a friend.
You
That-
can't be you can't be in a place that you were never going to get to anyway. So there's no zone for you to be in. sort of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
To
glad
be
you
honest
understand
as
it, Luke.
well,
Um,
if they don't want to go out with you to begin with, if your first intention was to go out with them, why the fuck would you want to be friends with them? You'd rather forget about them and move on to the next.
I mean that's the whole thing, right? Is that it's intention. Of course, people who are trying to date someone who never saw them as someone they wanted to date are going to be like, "Oh, I'm in the friend zone," you know. And of course, people who offer to listen to people's problems when they're obviously not well prepared for that are going to be like, "Oh, this person trauma dumped on me." You know, I think it's all about those people's perspectives upon it. I don't think either of those things are an actual issue, you know. I don't
How
think
many times have you been?
I suppose
put
when
in
you put it like that, it kind of makes sense.
yeah, I think
how many times have you been put in this supposed friend zone?
I don't want to talk about
Fair enough.
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I just talked about one time.
Yeah. When he got
Uh,
immediately shot down.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Justin. You don't have a very good outlook judging from that.
I think this podcast has or this episode has very much revealed how like me and Xeno are, and it's made me very
I don't like
depressed.
it.
Not it's depression, not so much because I am very much like you, but it's the experiences
I'm
that you have
sorry
gone
for
through.
him.
He's like, God, I can't be like Xeno. Man, Xeno's a fucking loser. Why would I ever want to be like him? God.
It's
Fuck,
just
I am him.
it's just like
No.
the knowing that this is how my life has been. You know, I'm okay with it, but you know, I wouldn't want someone else to also have gone through this or be like myself. But then I hear your experiences and I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, you're not
You know,
you're not
it's-
supposed to be like me, and if you are supposed to be like me, you're supposed to be
Hey,
better.
have you ever
It's
lived
only
in like a
downhill
really
from here.
have you ever when you were younger lived in a really shady part of town?
Yeah, stop,
Most
man.
people have.
Okay,
to be
wait.
honest.
Before you answer that, while you were living there, within the first week of living there, did you ever find a dead woman in a dumpster?
Okay, no.
Fuck.
We draw it there.
No?
Yeah, we draw
No?
it there.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I was
stopped
wondering when I
there.
put that body. Fuck, sorry.
Oh, okay. So we didn't quite have the same experience.
Yeah, no,
No,
I
it's
think
very
there's-
cold.
Have you ever fucking jacked off and your neighbors pointed a laser through your window to know that you left the curtains open?
That's happened.
No, okay, I guess we're not entirely the same.
But I
We are not
have
the same.
No, we are not the
But I
same.
have jacked off and heard a group of ladies laughing outside the window because the curtains were still open.
Oh, I didn't say it laughed because the
Damn.
penis is small.
Look at that shit. It's fucking ropey, bro.
And I was on the fucking.
I was
on-
also underage at the time, so they were technically pedophiles.
Me
viewing
too.
it on
Oh,
Me
yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it! I think this is a good place to end the podcast. What do you guys think? Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
Not really.
I'm just trying to figure out how more similar me and Justy are.
It's a sad existence, I know.
It's pretty fucked. I thought at least one of us would have been a fucking like living it good, but
Have you ever gone to therapy before?
How did you say
no,
you were again?
I was the therapist for
0.6.
my mom.
I was the parent for my mom for a while.
Ah, me
Actually-
too. You won't.
Uh,
It's life.
but
Oh, God.
I went to therapy for a long time. For a few years, I've tried multiple therapists. I refuse to go to psychiatrist or therapist anymore, whichever one's which. The only difference is really one can give you drugs, the other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've always gone to the more quote unquote professional ones, so the ones that can give you drugs if they want to.
That would be a
Uh,
therapist.
yeah. That'd be the rapist. I mean the therapist.
Psychologist.
Is this like I could have sworn it's therapists that
Therapists
allow-
are the are the people that talk with you and are like, "Hello, how are you doing? Talk about your dead dad." Then
Yeah.
psychologists are the ones that kind of talk to you, but they're like, chemical imbalance, bitch.
Take all these drugs, inject them into your fucking penis. It'll make you
Yeah.
feel better. Trust me.
They
But-
tried that and it didn't work. Not the penis part. But yes.
I've seen how
But so I was I was been through multiple therapists, and each one had made me like more question my mental state worse than the last because of their reaction to my life story. Each one has had a like more vicious reaction to the life story because the life has progressed up to that point from the last. So my very last therapist, she retired because of me.
Oh God.
She retired on me after about 2 months of working together. I just like was gonna go in the next week, and I get told by the front desk lady, she's like, "Oh, you retired kind of suddenly, recently, actually. Would you like us to sign you up with a new therapist?" And I was like, "What the fuck?"
So you basically trauma dumped on her until she quit.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
fucking woman
Bruh.
moment.
But I guess because she was just like, I don't know how to fix you. And she kept trying to offer drugs to fix me, and I'm like, I don't want to be medicated. I want to be fixed.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you
But
had
then the
any
one
self-realizations or anything like that?
huh?
Have you ever had any like self-realizations, like you were like, it's kind of like, Jimmy Neutron, right? He's like brain blast. Have you ever had one of
Mhm.
those moments where you're like, oh, the reason why I feel fucking horrible all the time is because of all of this stuff that happened to me.
Well, the reason I feel horrible
My
all the
life
time is for a
fucking sucks.
plethora of reasons. But um, I'd say I have a few realizations. One of which was like a more positive one in recent years of being like, I'm not as ugly as I think I am, which was a kind of nice realization.
It's a very good one.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think
you at
So-
least have a chance.
I think without the realization of that, therapy doesn't really help out that much. Therapy
Yeah.
is supposed to lead you to the point of like, oh, I can finally realize that this traumatic episode or this kind of situation is what has made me into the person I am today, and that's not too bad.
Oh, I don't want to be the person I went today. I'd like to be fucking Luke over here who had an arranged marriage at 10 and had a happy family.
But you're
I'll trade with him.
but you're the person who you are now, so you have to be, find some way to be happy with it.
I'm
I'll be
accepting it. I'm
honest.
just saying if I had the option to swap.
But you never did.
Relationships do change you as a person. I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah, of course they do.
Friendships
Sometimes for the
do.
better, sometimes for the worse.
Mhm.
I actually have a
Definitely.
question for you. It's more like a two-parted question. If the first answer is a certain way,
Okay.
would you say? Now, I'm not trying to sound like a therapist
8
here,
inches.
but okay, thank you.
Okay.
Would you say that would you say you hate yourself,
That's a tough question to answer.
or
This
have
is a
a
yes or no question.
or have a
It's not a yes or no question.
and I have that's why I have a second part to the question. And if like you're not sure, you don't, or like you don't hate yourself, would you say like you hate the situations that you've been developed in?
Ah.
Oh, we got deep there.
There's a lot of yes and no's to both of those questions.
Okay.
I would say when I was young, I definitely I figured that because the therapist actually played a part in that for a long time. When I was in elementary, my therapist had convinced me my school had sent me to a therapist and said he's not allowed to come back to school until he's been in a therapist long enough for the therapist to tell us that he's okay to come back and that he's safe
What
to come
the
back because they
fuck?
thought I was gonna become a school shooter or something
What
Right.
the
because I had been constantly bullied in class and
Well, just because you've been bullied doesn't mean you're
Well,
gonna
and then I
shoot
started,
up
like,
the
lashing.
fucking school.
I started lashing out because of the bullying and started beating the shit out of anybody that looked at me sideways.
Well, yeah, they called you got fed up with the shit and you retaliated.
Well,
But anyways,
they were
Defend
probably
yourself.
they were probably fearing an escalation.
Yeah, they
Obviously, yeah, but
anyways, if they had started like dealing with the bullies instead of dealing with the bullied, maybe something would actually happen.
Right.
I
Anyways,
have to deal with the bullies. Anyways, we're kind of
besides
going
the
a bit
fact-
on a tangent now.
the psychiatrist had basically convinced me that I was the problem. And
You are the problem.
so part of that played into like for a few years from then onwards, I would think that I was the problem. Anytime I had a problem, I was convinced that I had done it to myself. Right? That there was no possible way it's just, people being assholes or maybe other people just fucking up or my situation just being fucked. It was just, nah, I must have fucked up somehow.
Yeah.
And it was also like things
Classic
while I
school
was
systems.
classic rapist, therapist
And
situation.
my therapist wants me to essentially talk like a fucking robot when I speak to anyone.
Yeah, I never recommend anyone go to therapy. They're fucking liars.
Like, some of the things she tells me, like, if
But-
you're talking to someone, like, and you want to ask them something, be like, wow, that is really interesting. May I understand? Or just, would you like to talk more about it?
So,
It just sounds robotic.
Would you say in some of those bullied situations, did you ever do any kind of odd behaviors or something that would kind of
Oh, yeah.
make you
I
stand
was a weird
out?
kid.
Right.
I was the weird kid.
Right.
I was the weird nerdy kid that wasn't afraid to be open about how nerdy I was.
Gotcha. And
Fucking
Um,
nerd.
And then because other people were like, fucking unable to accept their own fucking, oh, well, I wish I could be that way, they fucking started lashing out at me. And then I also lived in a small town on top of that. So if you got on one bad popular kid's side, you got on everybody.
yeah, you were basically
And then
fucked.
that stuck with me from elementary all the way up to high school.
Right.
Because, same small town, same people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never escaped that, I suppose.
Yeah. But I would say nowadays I don't like fully hate myself. There's still a part of me I hate because I realize that I do certain things that I know are fucked up and I shouldn't do, or like I know I shouldn't feel certain ways about certain things, but I still do regardless.
There's some
So
aspects that you wish you could either grow out of or, kind of refined.
yeah, just certain things like that. So I'd say it's a yes and no to the do I hate myself thing. What was the other question again?
Do you think there's a possibility that maybe like situations that you were like raised in or grew in could have also played a factor towards like the way you feel?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure don't remember if this is true or not, but I'm sure there's a part of time when I was like a little kid that I was convinced that the reason why mommy and daddy were constantly fighting was because of me.
Right.
Yeah, you were the problem.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, the biggest revelation might be that you have hatred for rather the situations you were involved with growing up that kind of led you to be the way you are, and that the difficulty of accepting yourself fully is because of those things? I don't know if that was a spaghetti kind of mouthful, but
I'm flipping this back on you. Do you?
I want lots of spaghetti. Spaghetti sounds good, right?
I think there's many aspects of my life growing up that it was, it certainly shaped me how I am, but I fully accept it. There is, I don't know, I believe the most recent friend incident that I did have about, I think it's been 2 years, really kind of displayed that I need to accept these issues and to work on them,
Has it been 2 years since that happened?
I believe so, but
I thought it's been like about 1.5 actually.
it may
Probably
have been
closer to there.
it may have been one since like the final breakage of it, but from the very beginning of like the issue, um I think it's pretty much just shown me that there are things that are wrong with me in some aspects, and it's okay, you know, as long as I'm trying to improve upon that or to, you know, kind of change it, I suppose, then it's not all bad.
I think as long as as long as human beings try and like change themselves for the better, then I feel like we'll all just keep living and surviving. I think
Oh,
that's what makes us human is development.
I
Oh,
think
hi.
so, yeah.
random bit.
Yeah.
Fox finally did that thing after like what, 2.5 hours?
hours.
Thank fucking
Yeah.
God.
Sisyphus has finally made it to the peak of the
Yeah.
mountain.
I think I will go ahead and end the podcast here, though. As deep as we
On
have gotten,
Sisyphus.
we all need a little bit of rest, you know, respite from it.
We've gone too deep into the.
Yes.
No, it's very much like, you know, I don't want people to feel too pressured, you know. I don't know. Whenever I get someone on this podcast, they're eventually like, I don't ever want to go back on.
I don't know. I've been on pretty much what.
Well,
4
that's
or
because we
5 of
don't
them?
ever dig into you, Shinlar, and if we do,
I
you
think
kind
it's
of
more
divert.
for me. I find it very interesting.
We're gonna have to
actually,
dig into Shinlar next time.
That's why I started the whole podcast. I find it interesting to kind of dive deeper into some people and be like, hey, you know, what's going on? Why are you acting like this? Let's figure it out, you know. It's not a jab at them, but more of like, you know, let's discuss those feelings that you're having.
like what makes you tick.
Yeah, exactly. Not again, it's not like, you know, you're my little frogs that I'm experimenting on, cutting open and shit like that, but it's
How dare you do
good to
that
talk
frogs?
about it out in the open with people that you feel comfortable.
We do that to human fetuses.
Yeah. Anyways, I got a call. One
Go
moment.
for it.
Hello? Yeah.
Mike's still on.
Okay. Okay, love you, bye.
That was my Uber Eats.
That was my mom. She's outside. She's got food for me. Is there anything
It
you
was
want
your
to
Uber Eats.
discuss before we go ahead and wrap it up, boys?
No, I got nothing.
No, we're just
Alright.
gonna play
Good, I'm
something after
done.
this.
Alrighty. Luke, anything?
No, I'm all good. I'm all good.
Alright. Well, I thank you boys for being on the 32nd episode of Within the Flesh. I think it was very good. And I hope you guys had
30
a
seconds.
good time. Huh?
Yes.
30 seconds.
The 32nd episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The next one will be the $33 one.
But
Good game.
thanks everyone for watching the podcast. I appreciate it. Make sure to leave any questions that you want to be answered in the comments below, or
Yeah, Ben, ask those questions.
yeah, especially Benjamin. Or you can also leave them in my Discord. So I love you all. Toodaloo and boo bye.